Hey crafters, it's me, Jen Evers with Quality Crafts, and welcome to Free Play Friday. We are in the midst of an alcohol ink and Yupo paper series. This is number 4. Number 1, I went back and I showed you some budget-friendly, different kind of things that you can do instead of the actual Tim Holtz alcohol inks and the blender and all that stuff. And so if you want to get in on that, go look at number 1. Number 2, I just showed you a whole plethora of ways of getting that ink to move around and do different things. Number 3, we dove into a couple of different techniques that were really cool. And so today we're going to do a couple other techniques. We're going to throw in some things that I got from Tracy Myers. So we're going to try glossy cardstock, which is completely different than glossy photo paper. You'll see, if you compare to last week's video to this week, you'll see what I'm talking about. And then we've got some mirrored cardstock. Let me show you a piece of that real quick. I'll show you down here too. It is totally mirrored. There's my camera, see it? And so we're going to play around with a little bit of that, and then if we've got time left over, we'll do another little play with Yupo paper itself. We're going to use some mixatives today, which I have not done thus far in the series, and the two that I have to play around with are silver and gold. These are not mixed in as the regular alcohol inks are, so you have to give them a shake. You can hear that there's a little ball in there. It's going to mix the gold and the silver up so that it comes out. Otherwise, it settles all to the bottom of the little bottle. So you have to make sure to do that if you're using the mixatives. Another thing, if we have time, excuse me, I'm going to try to use this stamp. It's just a plain round stamp. And we're going to see if we can get some interesting looks using this and water-based markers. I'm also going to do water-based markers on the paper so you can see what kind of things you get with that. So let's say you have some of these types of papers laying around your house, but you don't have the Yupo, or maybe you don't have the Duralar, but you've got glossy paper or you've got photo paper, and you have water-based inks, but not alcohol inks. You can just pour yourself some alcohol into a bottle such as this, and I use regular 91% that you can get at practically any big box store or Walgreens right on the corner. And then you can sort of fake it, if you want to call it that. Fake it where you put your water-based markers down, add the alcohol then, and see what kind of outcome you get. But all of it is exploration and fun and creative, and you're the artist, so make it happen and just be willing to try new things. It's totally fun. I'm going to get started today. Usually I start at about 5 minutes after the hour. Where are we at? We're at 5 o'clock right now. Wednesdays is another live that we do 1 in 10 by Jen, where I do an envelope of scraps that someone has sent in. I set a timer for 10 minutes and see what I come up with. So if you're interested in looking at that, we've got a whole 37 weeks prior that you can see all 37 of them. So you can do, like, instead of Netflix and chill, you can Quality Crafts and relax. Check that out. So the 2 stores we also have, if you want to support my channel and you like what content I put on here, qualitycrafts.com is the original store. Up on the right hand corner, click on store, give that time to populate, and then you can look through the digi stamps and the regular stamps and the adhesives and embellishments and all that kind of stuff is there. We also have a new store called jensqualitycrafts.com, and there you'll find a lot of stamp and die like accompaniments, like pairings, some just stamps, some just dies, and then some embellishments and stuff, and we'd love feedback on that store if you have time to check that out. The third way that you can support this channel is by going to patreon.com/qualitycrafts will take you right to my page, and you can sign up to pledge there for as little as $1 a month, and that helps keep the lights on Quality Crafts. The fourth way would be to, anytime you buy something on Amazon, to go through one of my links. So if you go through a link for alcohol inks, but you buy underwear for your husband, it really doesn't matter. As long as you went in through that link, it recognizes that purchase as a part of Quality Crafts, and I get a little bit of commission. So to everybody who takes advantage of those links and helps us out here at Quality Crafts, really appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see who's all here. We've got Susan Baker, Sharon, Norma, Brenda, Jill Lucas, Monica, Carlene. Hi from Florida. I'm from Wisconsin, but someone else said that. So if you're watching this archive, you should be able to see the chat that we had in the previous, while it was live. And if you're watching us right now, it's actually live if it's 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on Friday night. We've got one from Indiana. That's Janet. Waggity Girl's here. Brenda, Barbara, Vicky, Sandy, Gretchen. Wow, everyone is here. That is so cool. Let me just back this up. So alcohol inks and Yupo paper is something that's super fun to play with, but there's so many budget-friendly other things that you guys could be doing that are just like it. So don't let the money factor like scare you away from trying new techniques, because you can, you know, refill and do all that kind of stuff. Go back to video number 1 where I explain it a lot better than right now. Where else do we want to go? Hey Lori, hello! A lot of the links that I've been talking about are being posted by Susan, so thank you so much for being here today, Susan. I really appreciate it. Anyone you see in bright blue with a little wrench next to their name, they are moderators, and we're always happy to see them, so be nice to our moderators. Hello, Lizzie. Oh, Elaine. Hello, Elaine. Let's see. Ooh, don't forget to check out our blog. Our blog is really hopping. We've got a writer named Lori who takes a lot of my content and some content of her own where she does some research and we talk back and forth and come up with different ideas. The blog is coming along. Check that out. That is jensqualitycrafts.blogspot.com. Anything else I can say before we dive in? We've got about 1 minute left. You guys have any other questions? Otherwise, I can talk a little bit about our communities over at Facebook, Quality Crafts. You have to ask, you have to answer as you're trying to enter the group 3 real simple questions, like, you know, what's your favorite genre of art, and, you know, how did you find us, that simple kind of stuff. And then we'll let you in. We just don't want anyone getting in, or people adding other people that don't want to get in, because it hurts feelings, and we don't want any of that. Our group is commitment free and drama free. So you don't have to worry about anyone kicking you out for not participating in this and that, whatever. Just come on and check out all of the things we have going on. Swaps and challenges and sketches and all kinds of really fun stuff going on over there. Oh, Norma, that's so sweet of you. Watching from Pennsylvania, and Huntress is from Texas. Awesome. All right, well, we're going to get going now. Thanks, Laura. You're so sweet. All right, so I did a few adjustments directly correlating with a couple of comments that I got from subscribers. One was that I would show more of the hat, so I hope that this view is giving us a little bit more view of that. Another one was that the view of, now why is this so bright? I thought I had rectified the problem, and now it's super bright. Anyway, I made my view of the desk almost exactly directly down, instead of the slant. So for people like me who get queasy really easy, that should be handled. So I always welcome any kind of comments that you guys have about what I can do to benefit you, to make this more valuable for you, and, you know, so that you can see everything and it looks good. So let's get started. We're going to start off with this is glossy cardstock. Now, different from like glossy photo paper, the back feels like paper, like cardstock, and the other side is obviously glossy. See if I can get you, there we go. We got that shine on there. Do you see that glossy side? Okay, so the other side is not treated. It will like leak through. I want to show you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. So this is glossy cardstock. And the back, glossy cardstock, DIY inks only, so I didn't use regular alcohol inks, and then I sprayed it with alcohol to see if I got that splattering effect, and I did not. So you can see from there that that did not happen, okay? This one is glossy cardstock again with my DIY inks, but I dropped it and sprayed the alcohol. And then I added more color, and then I was like tipping it, like, you know, like this, like up and down, so that it would like flow. These lines here that you see, that's from blowing the heat gun on it and then stopping, and it creates these lines. So play around with your heat factors too, like your heat guns and whatever you're doing to, you know, hurry up the drying process, and you'll get some interesting lines and things. These are a couple of the other, wait a minute, this one's also glossy cardstock, but this is regular alcohol inks. Cool, right? And there's the mixatives. That's what we're going to be doing today. I just wanted to give you a quick show. And then these are some of the mirrored ones. Now, they look quite stunning in person. Sometimes it's just a little bit difficult to get an exact view of all the colors that are on there, but they are amazing. This one was made by Tracy Myers, who sent me this mirrored cardstock, and it is fantastic. I love the way she got this like yellow gold to look. Anyway, so that's what I'm talking about. I just thought that might give you a little bit more of a vision of what we're getting after here. So, glossy cardstock. Let's take off with this. We're going to do some alcohol inks on here. And I'm going to use the regular ones. I'm not going to use the DIY. I don't know if this is Spectrum Raw. We'll have to ask Tracy. So I'm just going to do a couple of drips of a couple of different kinds. And I want you to see what the difference is. So if you haven't seen the previous videos, you might be like, well, what is the difference? I've already gone over that. So you want to go back and watch number 3. That's purple that I just put on there. It is called Purple Twilight. Now I'm going to be adding a little bit of Mermaid. And this reacts differently than the other papers too, so you're going to want to check out the other parts of this series. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of caramel, just in a couple of different spots here, just one. Okay. And I'm going to spray it with a little bit of alcohol so we can get this moving around. There they go, drippy-doo. You can add a lot more if you want. You can get a paintbrush in there and move it around exactly where you want to move it. Anything goes, really. I'm going to grab a little paintbrush here. And piece of my paper towel. Oh, good idea, Susan. She said, if you guys are enjoying this video, if you give it a thumbs up, that would really help. So you can go in and move this around. Now, do you see underneath this right here, there you can see where I dropped it is what I'm trying to spit out here. You can see that it is going to go move around and stuff, but you can see right where I dropped those things. Let me show you on this one. Do you see that? Where there's totally that same mark right where I dropped that. But you still can get movement on this glossy cardstock. So I'm just going to putz with this a little bit, get some of this to move around. And now I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol blending solution. See if we can get a little bit more movement there. Right, and then you can also go in and do a little bit of drying. Carlene wants to know if we tried spraying with the alcohol on the paper first. We can definitely do that. I'm going to go ahead and dry this up a bit. And then we can grab another piece and do that. So here we've got the line that's moving. And if I stop the heat and move it back, it'll create more lines. This one's a little bit harder to see drying than the other one. Must be the colors I used. So what I want to point out is, do you see all these really dark spots where I dripped it on? Unlike the Yupo paper, this, it like stains it and then it still moves. That's glossy cardstock. So I'll bring in another one. And somebody wanted to know, who was that? Carlene Stewart. What if we put on the alcohol first and then put on the inks? Let's try that. Let's do lettuce and wild plum. So here I'm going to just spray this up and get it really nice and wet with the alcohol. and then put a couple of drips on and see what happens. Ready? Seems to be moving around a lot more freely, I think. I'm going to stop it right there. And we're just going to sit and watch it for a second, see if it's going to spread out a little bit more. Looks like the alcohol almost like made little pools in there. That is really cool looking. I like that idea. If you get a lot on one side and you just want to tilt it and just let it drain off onto your paper, it's a good way to get rid of those brown edges if you get some brown mixing colors too. So guess what's really cool this weekend, you guys? I got a surprise, not totally surprised because she let me know like a day in advance she was coming, but my mom is here. I tried to get her to come onto the video. I'm like, come on, everyone will be disappointed if you don't show up. But she does not want to show her face. She said she would break the camera. Like, if I haven't broken it already, there's nothing she's going to do to break it, right? That turned out really pretty. So, let's go ahead and add like another blue. Just because that sounds fun. This one is Sailboat Blue. Now this just has had kind of a chance to sit. Let's see if we can get a little bit more color variation in here by adding some blue. I think I'll blow that around too. I've used this DIY straw that I've made out of an ohuhu marker. I just pulled all the tips and the ends off. Let's come around this way. Looks like I got all the movement. That's all I'm gonna get right now. This stuff is just so totally fun. Okay, so you can get some really cool looks with this kind of stuff. This glossy cardstock. Let me just bring back in a couple of these looks that I got playing around with this. Okay, the two that we just did. And then I did this one where we added the mixative, which I still will do this for you guys. And then these two. This one was tipped back and forth, and this one I blew with the straw. So you can see that there's little fingers and stuff. Different kind of looks that you can get depending on what you're looking for. Okay, so let's go ahead. This one's really bright. Let's go add some like gold to this and see what we get. Add a little bit of that mixative. So I know now that you can get the mixative in gold, silver, rose gold, white, gunmetal. I think there's one more. But right now, for some reason, it's like super expensive and really hard to find. So I think people are just buying them up. Okay, so this is the gold, and I've gone ahead and mixed it, and we're just going to put a little, dot here and there. One really good way to move this around is to use, what do you call it, like this kind of a thing. Some people make them homemade. This is an Ink Essential one, so you can like get this in a pack on Amazon or your big box stores or whatever. And so I'm just going to pick up some of that and move it around so that it doesn't just stay in one spot. You can feel free to blow it around. You can add it when everything is still wet. I like to do it like this sometimes. I think I did that on the other one that I just did because then it's on top and you can really see it. But when it mingles in with the colors, it's just as nice. But look at that. Again, now if you use a Yupo paper or a Duralar paper, that's going to move around a lot more. And then if you're not happy with it, you can like go in with the alcohol and erase it. So go back and watch videos 1 through 3 if you're interested to find out a little bit more about how these things move and how they work. Copper, yes, I think that's the other one. Thank you guys. Alcohol inks have made a huge comeback. They're getting so popular right now. Alright, I'm going to move this guy out of the way. See if I can scrub up some of that mixative, just so it's not on my desk all the time. There we go. Alright, that was super fun, super fun. The other thing that, well, like I said in the beginning, that I would show you how to use watercolor markers and then use the alcohol to like create your own alcohol marker kind of effect. So say you don't have any alcohol inks and you don't have any alcohol based markers, but you have Crayolas or you have markers like these. This is an Ohuhu brand of like watercolor markers. They come in a big tray. So you get all kinds of really fun colors and nice, you know, brush tips. I believe this is linked in my Amazon thing if you're looking for this set. So the one caveat to this is you either need Duralar paper or like acetate or the back of a photo paper, something that's glossy and made, you know, to kind of repel, if you get what I'm saying, because that's kind of what Yupo does. It's like a plastic, okay? So you want to make sure that you have something like that, because some of these techniques are not going to work on regular cardstock because it's just going to suck it in and it won't move or do anything, okay? So you just have to keep that in mind when you're going through this. So let's try one on regular Yupo paper. So this is a little sheet of Yupo paper. I'm going to try some of my markers. So I'm going to scribble my markers on. They're water-based, so they should just wipe right back off. And I'm going to add some alcohol and see what happens. Alrighty. Let's see. What colors do I want to use? Well, let's go with like a pink and purple palette. How's that sound? Let's see if we got, no, not a real good, how about purple and blue? I wonder if we can get a little yellow in there. I don't know. Yellow and purple make brown though. Let's just stick with purple and blue and see what we get first. Yupo is a synthetic like plastic stuff. It's made from polypropylene pellets. So I just want to stress one more time that these markers are not alcohol based. They are water based. Some bright colors. Get those on there and then we're going to spray it with alcohol to see what happens. Look at that. I wonder if you can see that real clearly. Let me lift it up a little bit. Check it out. Neat, huh? So can we get these to move around then? Taking my old dirty brush in here. See what happens. So this is mixing around in here. This is a pretty small piece, so let me see if I can get some of this color to go towards the edges. So again, this is Yupo paper, and those are water-based, just water-based markers, like your what do I say? Just like your Crayola markers, you know. So let's go ahead and spray it one more time with the alcohol and see what happens. I'm gonna lift it up this time so you can see this a little bit clearer without having to wait for it to clear up. Look at that. Little dots. Check that out. So this isn't even alcohol markers. And look, the longer we let it sit, the more mottled it becomes. Do you see that? Will I still get a % if it's in your wish list from your link? I believe as long as you go in through my link, it doesn't matter what you choose. There we've got a whole bunch of little tiny dots there. Now, we could probably go in with the heat gun and stop that from spreading out too far. See if we can get it to stop real quick here. Ooh, pretty. These aren't as vivid. They're more of a light color than the alcohol inks, in my opinion, but look at that. It's not as dark as it's showing on your end. It's a lot lighter on my end, and it's really pretty. That is super cool. All right. Let's try another thing as long as we've got this on here. No, this is not the glossy cardstock. This is the Yupo paper, which is we should be able to remove color from instead of it soaking in to like a cardstock or a glossy cardstock or the front of like photo paper. This we should be able to remove some from this. So I'm going to go ahead and just spray on my dirty little thing here, dirty little brush, and see if I can't move some of this around. Remove it, I mean. Like, remove it. So I'm putting a whole bunch of alcohol with my brush across here. See if we can, like, remove a line. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of removal, but we're not going to get full removal. And also, for anybody who's just jumping in, because I'm not sure, if you just did jump in, this is Yupo paper, and then we sprayed some alcohol on it, because what we did was we used regular water-based markers on here. So we scribbled a bunch of water-based markers on it, we added the alcohol, essentially turning it kind of an alcohol ink DIY, like on the fly, right? And then we tried to remove some of it. So you really can make a super light. Check that out. If you wanted to go super light, you know, since we're playing around here, let me grab a piece of this and just go crazy and see what we can get out of this. How much can we wipe off of this, right? Some of you guys probably are wondering that. Like, how much can we actually wipe off of this? Let's try it. Look at that. We've got a super light, airy. Now, as you're looking at it, it looks pretty dark still. But on my end, it's really super pastel. So then you're like, okay, well, I don't really like that. Like, I really liked, you know, darker colors. So I think I'm going to go back in and add some stuff. What if I added, like, mermaid? That's pretty. Look at it move. Here's a difference between the glossy cardstock that we just did and the Yupo paper. Do you see it moving? It's just spreading out. We're not doing anything to it. And let's add some silver mixative this time and see what happens. I'm going to try to drop it right in these guys. Okay. And then what happens if we add a purple and we add the purple to the silver? And watch that spread out. Okay, I'm going to pick this up and get a little bit closer so you can see more of that. Do you see that silver? Super, super cool. These are going to look really great when I take pictures of them later on. Let me just go ahead before we like totally delete this. Let me take a quick picture here because we might add some more into this. But that's a really fun look. Let's get a picture of that before we lose it. And we can, whoop, stay up, phone. We can also go in and we can add more around it. So let's see, like I like that purple and that teal, but like some of my teal got eaten up. So I'm going to add a little bit more in here. So one of the really neat things about this is you can just keep going. Like, you don't ever have to be like, God, that just didn't turn out the way I wanted to, and now I'm like super disappointed that I'm not getting the, you know, the look I was craving, and you can just keep redoing it. I'm going to add some purple because I feel like the purple got gypped. There we go. Put some out here because that purple got gypped. Try not to get this stuff on your hands. I do quite a bit, but you can do things, you know, to just be careful opening and shutting your inks and stuff. Another thing that you want to be aware of is I do use this sometimes, and that's the alcohol blending solution, and it's fun to use, but never, ever, ever, from Tim Holtz mouth, never, ever spray this. Don't take this ever out of its own container. Don't ever spray it. The alcohol is okay to spray. I know some people don't like the idea of ingesting alcohol when they're spraying it. So if you want to do this outside or in a better ventilated area than what I'm using, feel free. You have to take care of you, and you have to do what, you know, coincides with your beliefs and how you feel about things. I'm just here to show you different things that you can try out, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do. This turned out so cool. I'm going to take another picture. I really like it. Where are we at? We got some time? We got some time. Alright. That is really pretty. I don't know how much more that's going to move. Let's go ahead and take a picture of that. Beauty. Beautimus! Okay, I'm going to move this off to the side because I'm really happy with the look of that. I'm going to let it dry just as is. Let's do the mirror paper. Actually, it's a really thick cardstock, and I love it. It's so cool. Thank you, Tracy, for sending me the mirrored cardstock. If you have more, I would love to play around with some more of this. I'm just bending it right now because it has a curve to it, and I don't want all my colors to run a certain way, so I'm trying to straighten it out just a tad. You could always tape these things down. I've seen a lot of videos where they tape the edges. Totally do that if you want it to be really flat and you don't want that tipping to make things move. You just want to see what happens as it's totally flat. I'm not going to do that just cause I don't want to. Okay, so now I'm going to add some wild plum, and we're just going to play around with what happens with, you've seen some already, and if you haven't, if you're joining us late or you're just popping in the middle for some reason, go back to the beginning of this video and check out the examples I did with this so you can see what kind of things you can end up with, because I'm not going to be able to show you everything. Whatever you have in your stash is going to look completely different than mine, right? And we all have different tastes in like what colors we like and what looks good to the eye and that kind of thing. So I'm going to put a whole bunch of this right in the middle, and I'm going to let it spread. I might even blow right in the middle just to see if I can get it to move a little bit more. Okay, so that's about as big as I got it to move. It's hard to show this stuff because it is mirrored. It's just crazy fun stuff. Okay, that was wild plum. Let's do the grape ape. No, it's purple twilight. Grape ape, grape ape. Okay. I know I'm going to stick my koala head back in here and blow on this one and see if I can get this one to go wider too. Maybe not as much there because it made two little fingers. We'll get a little alien guy out of that. Alright. I like the blue too. I really like the bright colors. Let's go ahead and put some blue over here. Trying to make it kind of a circle, because if I get a nice circle, then I might be able to blow it into a wider circle. Bye, Carlene! Really nice to see you! Okay, so that one was going wonky, so I just went with it. And I blew it into the other two colors. Now let's add like a bright color like yellow. Where is my yellow? Did I already pull it out? No, I didn't. Seems to be hiding. Well, let's use the Crayola yellow then, shall we? I can't find the other one. Oh, here it is. I found it. This one's called Sunshine, I think. Yeah, Sunshine Yellow. Let's see what we get when we add the Sunshine Yellow. We're going to let it run into the green, and we're going to let it run into the pinky red color. I think if we run it into the purple, it's going to turn brown, but let's check it out. This is so hard to show you guys, but it's really fun. If you get your hands on some of this stuff, check this one out where this yellow and gold like met here and it made orange. Oh, here comes the other color running right through it. And it's running. Oh my gosh, every time it runs into another color, it like makes another color. It's like super rainbow. Ugh. You know what, let me try to take a picture of this so that we can get, you guys can see it later so it doesn't look so weird from having this, just all this glare and stuff. Let's see if I can get just a photo of it. Just the colors. Oh yeah, that totally works. I will show you guys the colors later. Check it out in the group Quality Crafts on Facebook. And what I do on Fridays, when whether I'm doing this series or I'm just doing a one-time thing, there'll be an album underneath photos. So you go, what do you go? You go photos, albums, and then look for the one that says alcohol inks and Yupo paper. And if you're playing around with the inks, we want to see what you guys are doing too. So inspire us by uploading some of your either short video clips. I think you can do short video clips on the wall, and otherwise put your photos in the albums. We would love to see what you're making. This is so cool. This is really, I don't even want to wreck this. So let's see. Somebody asked me not too long ago, well, Jen, what are you going to do with all this stuff? Nope, there's one more thing I wanted to do before I wrap this up. And I'm not wrapping it up yet, but I wanted to see what would happen is if, since we're talking about using things that aren't the inks, like the markers. What if we took one of the markers and we marked up, because you can do this with a regular stamp and these markers, any kind of water-based marker you can do this with. You can do this with alcohol markers, but they're going to dry right on your stamp and your stamp's going to be discolored. It won't wreck your stamp, but if you want your stamps to stay pretty, then don't do it. I'm just using water-based today though, and now if I stamp this down, I'm going to have all these little marks and stuff that I put into here. These are all going to stamp on there. It's going to look kind of wonky. But if I spray it with a little bit of alcohol here, do you see what's happening on there? We're going to go ahead and stamp that and see what happens. This is glossy cardstock, by the way. Look at that. That's pretty. Look at it. It looks like an earth. That is so cool. Let's do that again. I'm going to get a wet wipe and wipe that off. We can use a different color. So art made with this stuff doesn't have to be fluid art that moves and you have no control over it. You can use stamps and all kinds of other stuff to actually create a controlled piece of art if that's what you're looking for. So that one, let's do like a purple and blue like we did before, and let's mix it up and see what we get. Okay, and depending on how you put that on, each time it's going to look a little different. So you can see that it's moving around. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that down. It's almost like watercoloring, right? And I'm giving it plenty of time to like soak into that paper. Let's try one more time with this and see what we get. Second generation stamp. Oh, you know those really popular stamps that people are always trying to get, the ones that look like an accidental coffee mark? Check that out. Would that not be an accidental coffee mark? Let's do brown. So that was a second generation. So I guess if I want the accidental coffee mark, I would have to color this all brown and then do a second generation stamp. So let's just try that out since we have this ready to roll. I'm not sure how dark this brown is going to turn out because I've never tried this. Hi, Heaven Sent. Alcohol will not harm the stamp. If you're worried about it, after you do the alcohol, you can go ahead and just wash it with a little bit of like Dawn dishwashing soap or something like that and let it sit. And if you're super worried about like maybe that the rubber will get funny, you can always add a little bit of glycerin to it and make the rubber more supple again, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put this on one time. And oh, we did get a brown. Let's go ahead and see if we can get that coffee mark that we're looking for. Ooh, it's totally different than the other one. Check it out. That's fun looking though. You could get the edge. Let me show you a way you can get just the edge, you know. Like besides just coloring around the edge, go ahead and put some ink on your stamp and then spray it and only touch the edges. I ran out of room on there. Well, we could probably get it over the top of this one. So I'm going to roll the stamp. I'm going to try to just touch the edges and not the whole thing. See that? How it like made that around? So that's looking more like a coffee stains. Make your own coffee stains. Oh, that's fun. I really like that. That's turning out cool. Alright, what was that other thing that I wanted to get to? Oh yeah, people were asking me, like, what are you going to do with all this when you're done? I'll show you. Let me grab my cuddle bug because I'm going to use that. That is really pretty. You don't have to use circles. You can use any stamps you want that you have at home. Butterfly stamps I think would be particularly fancy. Move that one over. I think my silver mixative one is still drying. Holy man. Let me bring it over. Oh, come on thing. I don't want to stick my finger in it. Check this out. See that? And the silver is still in there. Yeah, it's still wet. That's going to take a bit to dry. The mixative was really thick. Alright, cuddle bug it. Here we go. And let's see, block and that. Where's my other block? Alrighty. So I have these die cuts, which I've used before, these butterfly ones by Tim Holtz. We are going to use those today. I should be able to cut just the outline. This one's the outline. And that one is an outline. So let's go ahead and take this one because it's got lots of fun color in it. And we're going to cut a couple of butterflies out of that. Make sure they're not sitting on top of each other. That would be bad. right, and hopefully we got a nice cut out of that. Yep, we did. Awesome. Let me move Mr. Coral Bug out of the way. Take these guys off of here. And they're beautiful just as is. Look at that. This one even went hard enough to put in the indentations. If you can see that little indentation there. Oh yeah, totally. This one didn't quite to get a little bit in there. But look how beautiful those are. Those could go right on a card. Another thing you can do is pop this back on. Let's see this one. Okay, just like that, and use a black ink to go over that with like one of these. Go over it with a black ink, and you'll end up with something like, oh, I dropped my thing, didn't I? Oh, that's all right. I'll get it in a minute. And here's the one that I did beforehand, and you can ink in the black marks. Do you see those? So there's another one where there's, that's the difference between the two. I really like the two that I just did, where there's no marks at all. I just think they're stunning. Cool, right? And if you give them a little push here, like this, they'll look like they're flying on the page. They'll look 3D. My mom actually, she crafts with her card club group, but other than that, she's not really big into crafting at all. I know, interesting, right? Where'd that come from? I also have the feathers in here, so you could definitely do the feathers as well. And those would turn out pretty spectacular. Alrighty. So let me go ahead, and we're getting close to wrapping this up. I've pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover today. But, let's see. Let's get some of these in here. Okay, so let's just do a little review, because I like to do that. Let's see, what did we make today. We did this one where we erased essentially the whole thing and started over. Added some mixative and let that sit. That is so pretty. We did this one, which turned out to have a lot of really fantastic rainbow of colors. And that's on the mirrored cardstock. Those two are still relatively wet, so I want to move those out of the way. Here's another couple of mixative ones where there's silver in there. The butterflies that I cut out today, it was glossy cardstock. This is one that was made by Tracy Myers, and I really love that because these are really fantastic marks here. There's another one that I did with purples and greens and pinks. Yupo paper that we did a little bit of today, but not very much, is a polypropylene pellet. So it's essentially just a plastic paper. A synthetic plastic paper that doesn't tear. And then these were glossy cardstock as well. All 4 of these. This one we added mixative to. Actually, I did that one ahead of time. So this one we did not do live. But I already showed you one that we did. Okay, and here's another one that we did. We did this one today and let some of it run. And now I'm going to show you guys just a little sneak peek of what was in some of the other videos that I've done prior to this. So there's 4 of these videos all together. Techniques that we did in some of the other ones would include removing the ink, which you can see in these 2. I did the background, and then I stamped the image, and then I removed the image. If you would like to see those, go back to video number 3. I think that these were also video number 3, where we were playing around and seeing what would happen with this this is the back of, these two skinny ones are the back of photo paper. So if you're looking for another paper that you can use that's relatively inexpensive, check out your Goodwills. A lot of people are getting rid of their photo papers because they're having someone else do it and they're not printing them at home like kind of like we used to as much. And so this photo paper can become super cheap. This is also another piece of photo paper. And it is really vibrant. I love this one. It turned out super cool. You can go back to video number 2, I believe it is, and see some of these ones where we did all these little tiny dots and stopped them from moving and growing. You can make them really big or you can make them really small. So check out video number 2, I believe it was. This is another one from there where we did a little bit of erasing and then added in our own look to change that. So we did a little bit of erasing right here and added some more in. If you guys are enjoying this series or you generally just like my channel and what I show you and you find it to be of value, if you would join Patreon, that would be amazing. Otherwise, give us a thumbs up on your way out. Here's another one that we did. Here's some removing of ink here, so you can go and look and see how we do that technique. This is a lot darker, but it's still super pretty. I believe this might be Duralar. We did some erasing on the Duralar here, and we had a lot of that gone. You can see through this one. Not quite as opaque. Here's one that we did with some, I'm pretty sure that this was my homemade inks, so they weren't quite as vibrant. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I've done on my own, just playing around. Here I used this piece to make some leaves to put on a card. So you might want to think about doing that. If you get too close to the Duralar paper, it will buckle. Do you see this? I think Yupo will too, but I'm not sure how long it will withstand. There's another one that we just ran some stuff through. That was in video number 2, how to get your inks moving. There's some more. This one's really pretty. That one's got a little bit of mixative in it as well. I mean, there's just, you can tell how addicted I am. Check out all the stuff that I have. It's just incredible. This one's stuck. Oh, look at that. Okay, so I've got a few more techniques and fun things to show you. So we're definitely going to do a week 5. I hope that you guys will join me for that. I'm going to put some of this aside here so I can make room. Susan, you've done an amazing job moderating this video and other videos as well. I really appreciate you. All of you guys who are watching that are already Patreons, thank you for being a part of that that just special group that's on the side that really wants my channel to grow and keep just giving you valuable content and showing you how to do things on a budget, because I heard that's one of the things that's really important to you guys. Just taking another look at the chat just to see if any of the other last minute comments or questions are going to come up that I can answer before we go. Seems like you guys are so very welcome. Thank you guys for being here. If it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be a channel, right? So any way that you can support my channel is awesome. Amazon, the 2 stores that we have. Join us on Facebook. Just watch the videos. Watch time is really important to YouTube, as well as giving the thumbs up. We want to jump our videos up to the top of the list so more and more people can see them, because the more people that see them and support this channel, the bigger it will get and the more time that I can spend with you guys. So if you want to see more exclusive videos and things like that, definitely join us on Patreon. Do a monthly gift that works for you, and then we will get you into the private group as well, so you can see some of the other stuff that we're doing. And very shortly here, within the next couple of weeks, hopefully before school ends, but it might have to wait till summer, I'm going to do a full video of my craft area so you guys can see the inner workings and what's going on there. So if you want to join Patreon now would be a great time to do that. Awesome. It sounds like you guys are really having fun with this. I can't wait to see you guys for week 5, where we add in a couple of more techniques that I have not shown yet. So there's more fun to be had, and I want to see you guys next Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Invite a friend, because I can't wait to see you guys next video.